Jesus came down with them and stood on a level place with a great crowd of his disciples and a great multitude of people from Judea, Jerusalem, and the coast of Tyre and Sidon. They had come to hear him and to be healed of their diseases. And those who were troubled with unclean spirits were cured. And all in the crowd were trying to touch him, for power came out from him and healed all of them. Then he looked at his disciples and said, "Blessed are you who are poor, for yours is the kingdom of God. Blessed are you who are hungry now, for you will be filled. Blessed are you who weep now, for you will laugh. Blessed are you when people hate you, and when they exclude you, revile you, and defame you on the account of the Son of Man. Rejoice in the day and leap for joy, for surely your reward is great in heaven, for that is what their ancestors did to the prophets. But woe to you who are rich, for you have received your consolation. Woe to you who are full now, for you will be hungry. Woe to you who are laughing now, for you will mourn and weep. Woe to you when all speak well of you, for that is what their ancestors did to the false prophets."
Our second reading is an audio clip from Maya Angelou. Don't know how many of you are aware that Maya Angelou, the great writer and humanitarian, came and spoke at Evergreen College in Tacoma. Was anybody there? It was 12 years ago tomorrow, so we're just right on top of the anniversary. She came and told a story from her life. Should say also there's lots and lots of Maya Angelou on YouTube, and if you're ever looking for inspiration, it's a wonderful thing just to listen.
After I'd written the inaugural poem for Mr. Clinton, the United Nations personnel, people, wrote to me and telephoned me and asked if I would write a poem for all of us, for the world. And would I come to San Francisco and deliver the poem? Well, I was overwhelmed because in 1945, when United Nations was being founded in San Francisco, I was 16 years old. I was pregnant, unmarried, and about to graduate high school. 6 foot tall and black, even then. And I had read that simultaneous translators were being paid the unheard of amount, $150 a week, to work at United Nations. There have been statements in the San Francisco Chronicle, the Examiner, and the Call Bulletin. And I would go down and watch the people going into the building, United Nations building. I watched Mrs. Eleanor Roosevelt with her friend, the black educator, Dr. Mary McLeod Bethune. I watched the people from India, France, all those exotic places. And I would think, if I wasn't black and 6 foot tall and 16 and pregnant and unmarried and uneducated, I could go into that building. Folks, imagine when I was asked, me, Maya Angelou, 50 years later, to go into that building and deliver a poem to the world, to the heads of state of the world. Look at it. See me now. I've told you about that little village in Arkansas. I told you about being raped and being a mute. See now, how could I have made it without rainbows in my clouds? You see? Some white ones, some black ones, some Asians, Spanish speaking. See, some fat ones, some thin ones, pretty and plain. See, that's who you are, and that's who I am. And that's what we can do to each other, for each other, and for ourselves. This is really, in truth, who we are. We shine so far beyond what we think are our limits. You see?
Thank you, Jim. Friends, what amazing times we're living in. What a privilege to be alive in this generation. I had the opportunity to see sisters and brothers from Bethany in action this last week. They were leading a workshop at Plymouth UCC, another dismantling racism opportunity. You could just feel the liberating wind of the Spirit blowing through people's lives there, and how much has happened through their ministry on Beacon Hill. Young people's lives. What could possibly be more exciting for Christians to witness and celebrate right on our doorstep? And they've drawn the attention of the whole country. The folk at Bethany are out there on the forefront, and the lessons they're learning are being picked up by people in other places in a great wave of love and justice, and that special kind of standing tall that comes of knowing through and through that you are a child of God. You are a beloved child of God, and nobody can challenge that or take it away. I want some of that for us. Look at us. Lots of us are old, and I include myself in that. I've got a question for those of us here who are of mature years. When is the last time somebody offered you a breathtakingly new way of looking at the world? A really good book can do it. A good movie can do it. I'll bet a grandchild can do it if they're willing to open up and tell you what's real in their lives. But how often does the world really look different to you? They accuse us oldies of being set in our ways. Maybe it's true. But I often feel stuck simply because I've heard it all before. Makes it a pain to have to come up with a sermon sometimes. Everything just feels so said already, so familiar. Well, in the last 5 years or so, the business of dismantling racism has undergone a revolution. They talk about how we need to get woke, which is how gospel preachers used to tell us we needed to be born again. And they offer it to us, new ways of seeing things. And all of us who thought we had racism figured out because we lived through the civil rights movement of the 1960s, realize we've got a whole fresh lot of work to do. Now you can be threatened by that, or you can be offended. You can look out and see a tidal wave of guilt coming your way and run as fast as you can in the opposite direction. But I want to say, why don't we welcome it? Let's do this. It's a new world that we can be part of. This is a gift that can touch us to the core of our humanity. What an opportunity. We've been talking about connections for these last 6 weeks or so, and in the few minutes that I've got, I want to point out two kinds of connections going on here. The The first one can be quick. Naima's already referred to it, and it's obvious in any case. Just something to realize. And that is that race as an issue is connected to just about any other issue you could name. Education, jobs, where you live. Race is connected to everything that has to do with opportunity. The military, the healthcare system, race is connected to who lives and who dies. Neighborhood policing, the criminal justice system, the prison system, you only have to look at the statistics. Environment, pollution, climate change, look who lives in the areas most affected. I noticed something in our Bible reading this morning that I'd never seen before. That introduction. Jesus comes down and stands on a level place, is what it says, a level place, with his disciples and all the people from everywhere gathered around him. There was ethnic diversity in his world too, and there they all were, on a level place that he chose as the place they would stand together. We've got a lot of work to do before our world is a level place for all its people. The color of the faces we take out into the world is a factor in everything that happens to us. Race is connected to everything. That's the first connection for us to note, especially those of us who are white. The second takes a little more explaining, and that's the connection that people are calling intersectionality. Basically, it invites us to see ourselves as the intersection of all of the different identities we carry, starting with the really basic ones. The woman who coined the word intersectionality is named Kimberly Crenshaw. It's 20 years ago now. She tells the story of a black woman who sued the factory in her town because they wouldn't give her a job. And the factory owners said, that's a lot of nonsense. They said, 30% of our workforce is black, 40% is female, what's your problem? Look closer, she said. The non-white employees of that factory were all big strapping men doing heavy lifting and security work. And the women were all in the secretarial pool, and every one of them was white. If that lady had been a black man or a white woman, she could have gotten a job. But the intersection of black and female not only made her unemployable, it pretty much made her invisible. She won her case. I love Maya Angelou's description of her 16-year-old self standing on the corner there in San Francisco watching people walking into their United Nations meeting. I was 16 years old, pregnant, unmarried, uneducated, black and 6 feet tall even then. Figure the intersection of all those identities, you end up at hopelessness, plain and simple. And in telling us that story, she invites us to be amazed with her at how her life turned out. Some of us here are feminists, lots of us, and quite a few of us have been active for gay rights. We've supported foster kids with school supplies and clothes and Christmas presents. We've embraced the plight of the homeless. Even this morning, as Stan was saying, some of you were in Seattle serving breakfast to homeless people. And maybe you had a real encounter with somebody who was there for breakfast. Occasionally, someone will choose to tell his or her story. I imagine there was lots of conversation about the snow. But otherwise, behind those eyes, you can only guess about things like health issues, or family breakdown, or immigration status, or education, or employability, or prison record. About the only thing you can really assume about someone you're meeting there is something about the Seattle affordable housing situation. Every person in that breakfast line represents the intersection of a different set of identities and experiences. It would be very much easier if we could just take one label and apply it to all of them. Homeless, let's fix that, let's just fix that. But unless we honor the intersections behind each person's situation, the solutions don't stick. Nor are the gifts released, the amazing gifts. They never get a chance to shine through. So my charge today is that we all look for the people who are invisible behind society's categories. Think of all the Maya Angelou potential in the people nobody sees. Think how different the world could be. Blessed are you poor, Jesus says. Now note that this isn't the safer, spiritualized version that we're used to from Matthew's Gospel. This is raw stuff. Blessed are you who are hungry, you who weep, you excluded. God has such a reward in store for you. As opposed to you who have everything now, your day is coming. In our privilege, this is all optional for us, most of us say. We could just say, good for you, Bethany UCC, here's some money. Or we could grab hold of these connections. We could really grab hold of them, take them to heart for the invitation they are to see ourselves and the people around us as we've never seen them before, to let other people teach us what the world looks like from where they stand, what we look like to them, maybe most of all. And then love our way into a brave new world together with them. Amen. Our offerings do wonderful things for God's kingdom. Let's receive them now.
Thank you.